Hi guys, and happy Wednesday! This is the Hot Seat live in real time here at the Social Media Show studio. I am your host Priscilla Moy, and every Wednesday we come here and we have someone amazing sitting here in this seat, and we get right down to the point of what they do, why they do it, and what drove them to continue pursuing their dreams in that field up until now. So today we have an amazing show for you. It's never short of amazing because every single week we leave here inspired. I know I do, I know our guests do, and I know all of our viewers do, because I see your comments, we see your messages, and we're getting so many amazing people wanting to be on our show. So thank you for that. But we are always here listening to some news stories and meeting some new amazing people coming from any field, not just entertainment. We can come from entertainment, cuisine, to nonprofit organizations, to politics, to entrepreneurs, to musicians, to all of these different things. It doesn't matter what you do as long as you've been pursuing something for a very long time and you have a dream and you are pushing through it. You are here sitting on the hot seat. So when we come back from break, make sure you grab your drinks, you grab your lunch, everything. We are going to dive right into our guest today, and I really do not want you to miss this episode. So make sure you come back, and I will see you soon.
Traditional TV is going away. Hollywood is starting to fade. People are demanding real stories from real people. Our voices are now being heard in our own way. Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok Live are becoming the norm. Internet TV has now reached the highest demand in human history. Social media shows is now the new media of the century.
This old dude here is down in the 89101 with the pimps, hookers, and crackheads. I have the ass of a 16-year-old boy. So, get you some cheesecake. I had to watch porn at the office. They paid me to watch porn at the office. Up is down, black is white, porn is good again! The official name and title is Captain Chris Cookie Cook, the Cook County Chili Cook and comedic curmudgeon, captivating crowds from coast to coast.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Hot Seat. I am your host Priscilla Moy, and we're going to jump right into our guest for today. He is a flair bartender. He is also the main character, one of the main characters of a documentary that will be coming out called Shaken Not Stirred. And he has won many, many, many awards for his art of flair bartending. So everyone, please welcome Colby Ashton. Hi, welcome to the show. Please take a seat. Thank you for being here. I'm so honored to have you. I know we had Debbie and Patrick on here prior for a different episode, and they mentioned all about this documentary. So first and foremost, you are from Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
correct?
Born and raised in PA, specifically in Lancaster, and then I worked all around Lancaster area, Reading, Pennsylvania, and then also for a long time down in Philly as well.
And you bartended out there for a while before moving out here back in 2013. And so what really was the story that got you into mixology and all of that to begin with?
So as far as like bartending went in general, I kind of got into it just because everything I've kind of grown up doing, I've always wanted to push myself a little further. So growing up playing ice hockey, I got bored skating out as a forward or defenseman, so I wanted to be a goalie. It was more of that adrenaline rush nonstop, and it was more pressure on me if I messed up. It was my fault, nobody's going to save me and help me out. So same kind of thing when I got into doing interest in bartending. I saw a friend of mine that worked in Harrisburg, PA, and he was doing a little bit of basic flair and just like very simple one bottle move behind the back, so to speak, and it just kind of caught my eye, and it made me realize there's something a little more exciting than just a basic towel over the arm. Hi, welcome to, wherever. Right. Something that's a little more over the top and gets people more interested that are normally just kind of grabbing a drink and turning away from the bar, and that's the only
right.
Conversation you're going to have with the people. And I just started playing around myself with bottles and tins and worked my way up through, and then noticed it was a lot of fun, and it was great to have people constantly coming back, and people were talking about it, and ended up doing like my first competition, and I got my butt kicked pretty hard in that one, and that was kind of a stepping stone, but that's what really pushed me into wanting to just be as efficient as I could and learn as much as I could. And I just kept practicing for probably 8 hours a day, almost every day.
And you've been in a lot of competitions. It's not just here in the U.S. A lot of them are international, like
Correct.
the U.K. and things like that. And so, how do you prepare for a competition like that? Because you also have to worry that, there's a lot of people there that have been doing this for a while.
Right.
So, right when you started, what was your mindset like going into a competition like that?
I didn't really go overseas right away. I spent the first couple of years just competing locally here in the States, or North America in general. We'd be in Canada as well for a lot of events. But it's kind of the same preparation, whether it's going to be somewhere down the street or if you're somewhere flying out for it. The only exception being your bag. You have to check it. You have to make sure you have things packed. You can't run back to your house and grab something if you're missing a bottle or strainer or tins and stuff forth. And I think the biggest thing is when you're going to go overseas, the difference is kind of plan ahead for just fatigue and exhaustion from that travel, because it's a lot of eye-hand coordination and muscle memory, so it's a lot of focus based around what you're doing when you're manipulating all these objects up in the air, whether it be on stage or behind a bar. So if you can kind of plan ahead by, let's say the time difference, whatever time you're going to be roughly on stage over in, say, Romania or Italy or somewhere, you can prepare by practicing over here in the States at the same time, equivalent-wise, factoring in your time zone. That way your body's at least kind of on the same page, even if you're not used to being up at that time. And then when you get over there, it's not as bad. Just try to get maybe a couple days early. Try to, prepare and get some sleep, and just make sure you eat, because your body still needs energy no matter what you're doing. So especially anything physical.
Mm-hmm. So when you first started bartending, everyone starts somewhere, then it's kind of like you love it or you don't. Obviously, you mentioned how anything that you do, you want to, do the best that you can. What about bartending, mixology, anything in that sort made you be like, this is what I'm going to work hard at?
I think it's a lot of the personal connections you make with people as well at the bar. So naturally, you're going to have a variety of situations. You're going to have some of those people that come in that you're only going to see one time, and they're going to have a blast, and you might not ever see them again. And you're going to have somebody else that kind of turns you into a psychologist almost. Like you become that person's shoulder to kind of metaphorically cry on or vent to about their life, So even if you're not having to perform by doing any flair, or they don't care about the cocktail, even just a basic rum and coke or something, they're still going to come to you as a bartender, because for some reason you're given all these numerous amounts of job titles aside from just a bartender. When you are behind that bar, you're kind of everybody's best friend, because nobody wants to be cut off, and everybody wants to be on the good side of the bartender. And it's kind of interesting, because you never know whose lives you're going to change. Some people are very good at hiding when they're a bad place in life, and maybe you could be talking to somebody that just kind of needed a little bit of interaction and some positive reinforcement, or extra reassurance in some decisions they're making in life as well.
Now, I'm getting your personal life, but are you a drinker as well? Like prior to bartending, have you frequented, being a patron a lot,
Right.
where you've had interaction with other bartenders?
Yeah, so I used to go pretty hard. I was one of those typical, when I was in my 20s, I was going out and enjoying in the nights of becoming unsober. And but just the typical, 21 to maybe 26 or
Right.
so, I was kind of going
Yeah.
just out with my buddies every weekend. It was our thing. We got together and just kind of went around and visited people. But the older I get, the less I drink now. I'm definitely more of like a social drinker.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be times I don't drink for weeks, and then all of a sudden I'll go out because I have a friend in town. I'll have a couple beers. But as far as getting like smashed, I can't tell you the last time that happened.
Yeah, but you've seen it. So as a patron, you've had interactions with a lot of bartenders, and now you're on the other side.
Yeah.
And now you kind of, see these people that were your age that are going hard, and
Right.
you know what to look out for, especially. And I know I've encountered this. A lot of the male bartenders are eyeing a lot of the women that come solo with a guy, and they kind of read body language and know when to step into a lot of those times. Have you had those moments here in Vegas where you kind of are eyeing situations that you feel you want to be the safety net for in the event of that happening?
Yeah, absolutely. And whether it's a woman or even a man, sometimes anybody can be in an uncomfortable situation or somewhere where they don't feel safe. And I know any bar I've worked at, it's not only just me, but a lot of the coworkers I'm always with too. We're always big on making sure people are safe, and we want them to feel safe. We have no problem going around and removing somebody from the bar or stepping in between and making them relocate. But we'll also, and I've been seeing it now on social media randomly, which is kind of ironic, but a lot of bartenders, myself included, will kind of step in and just kind of let the girl know or the person know that there's like a code word, like like ask me what the weather is tomorrow or something, or you can say something funny like chimichanga, just something that sounds random, so the person has no idea that they're giving you a code to kind of step in, and it's like, all right, buddy, I'm so sorry,
Right.
you had enough tonight, time to go, like she wants to be left alone, or just make up a story, and the girl sometimes will just be like, yeah, just like tell the guy like you're like we're dating or something or whatever. Like let me be your safety net, and then people will step in, and it's good to see because it's total strangers. And again, same thing. You might not ever see that girl again, but especially in this city with being Vegas, tourist town. So people come in, they're gonna drink. They might get a little flirtatious more than they realize, and then before they can backpedal, that's where we can kind of come in to help get them back to where they want to be.
Mm-hmm. Now, you came here in 2013. You started working at The Link, a bar that now is named something different. What was then the Quad, correct? You notice it's O'Shea's.
Yeah, it was the Quad back then, yeah.
And so, where are you now? What was that journey like in Las Vegas from then until now, and how it really kind of shaped you learning the Las Vegas culture? Because I'm sure it's entirely different than the drinking culture in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there is now, but at the time when I moved out here, there was no gaming really back in PA, aside from a casino here or there. But it's different here in the fact that there's like tabletop gaming, like video poker, Keno, and everyone's sitting there slapping away on the buttons. And, and I think just kind of making that transition was a little different of, there's people that can just randomly walk into the bar no matter what their age. That's where a lot of bars back home that we would work in, if it was more of a busier party style bar, everyone's getting carted at the door by your bouncer. It's like any movie bar you see, people are walking in, like you always have that bouncer there checking IDs. And out here that's really not as popular unless it's maybe like a nightclub. They're going to card at the door, obviously. But so I think just kind of that first bar I worked at with O'Shea's, it was kind of getting used to people coming in and just getting trashed at like 10 a.m. sometimes, and you're just like working, just like, how the heck are people getting like this early in the day? But then you realize they're on vacation. They're flying in potentially from Europe, Asia. Their body time clock could be 12 hours ahead, so they're wide awake right now, and they're going to crash at 5 p.m., in theory. And so just kind of seeing that and getting used to that and how people are with their time while they're on vacation was interesting. And from O'Shea's, I ended up going from the casino style bar to Rehab Beach Club at the Hard Rock. So I went from a casino to a pool party and then also fuel bar. So going from casino to flair and outdoor pool party, it was like all three different elements all right off of the bat. And it was kind of fun because then I've always loved my volume bartending. That's where Rehab was a great thing. And then also I've been doing flair, my entire career essentially. So being able to tackle both of those then after O'Shea's was amazing. And then once rehab closed, I just stuck with Fuel Bar full time, and that's where I want to be. That's fun. I love doing all the flair and just entertaining and just randomly going off in the bar when you hear somebody reacting to like the simplest move.
Yeah. So for the viewers, in case they might not know flair bartending, we do. Explain to them a little bit of what that is, and then how you feel you are different from all other flair bartenders out there. What's your style? What are you known for?
Yeah, so essentially flair bartending is the manipulation of any object behind a bar, whether it be like a shaker tin that you would shake your shots with, or a bottle, or even napkins, strainers, straws. Some people do ice flair with scoops and like with tins or cups as well. And it's just kind of making the experience more aesthetically pleasing as well across the board, like I was saying earlier, as compared to like a proper dining service with the towel and flashing a wine bottle around or something. That still has a little bit of flair to it, but ours is a more, I want to say, aggressively animated version of that.
It's a performance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's fun because obviously we're throwing things in the air, we're rolling them down our arms, and we're doing some funny pours and just kind of trying to get the customer out of their shell as well. You want to break down that invisible barrier or that wall between like yourself and the audience or the customers. And I think what sets me apart differently from the rest is, I don't know if I can swear, but I give zero finish the blank. But so behind the bar, like I'm myself. I have that Northeast. I talk fast normally. Even now I'm trying to slow myself down, but I talk fast. I'm not afraid to swear in a very casual way. And I love to make people laugh, even at my own expense. And I'm definitely known for just, I'm not afraid to be embarrassed behind a bar over something. I'll have fun and do some weird pours, whether it's pretending the bottle is something else or whatever, whether it be a baby or something more inappropriate. And it just makes people laugh. And that's kind of the same thing too, while I'm throwing everything around and having fun with all these different bottles and tins up in the air. I'm still interacting with people. I'm making the eye contact. I'm talking with them as well. A lot of people, when they're doing their flair bartending, they're too busy looking up and they're not making eye contact. So I try to just like stare at somebody, not awkwardly, but sometimes awkward.
Yeah.
Just to, I don't know, pull them, because it makes them laugh. Because they get serious as well. As you're doing, if you're making a drink or something, a customer is just kind of awkwardly like staring with their jaw hanging down. And so when you kind of stare back at them and they realize what they're doing, then they kind of start laughing, and then it's just awesome to see that expression change and the excitement come out of everybody.
Do you have a favorite drink that you like to make?
As far as making, they're all kind of the same, I would say. As long as it's like a flair-friendly bottle, meaning like going back to like kindergarten days, circle goes in the circle, square goes in the square. So if you're trying to put a square bottle of, say, like Jack Daniels into a tin to make like a specific move, it's not going to happen. But if you have a round bottle, like a lot of vodkas or rums, it's very more friendly to throw around and do a lot more possibilities with the manipulation of it. And so I would say, flair-wise, I'm going to go off more if it's a vodka or a rum drink as compared to like a tequila or like a whiskey drink. And but I guess as far as like a specific drink, one liquor, one mixer is always going to be the most fun, because you can just go off, pour quick and be done. You don't got to go crazy with shaking and waste time in between the next customer. And because that's a big part of flair. A lot of people think you're wasting so much time behind the bar doing flair. You can still be fast and functional and efficient with everything you're doing. You don't have to do a big elaborate showcase for a minute. You could do a simple move or two right into a pour and be done, hand the drink off. While you're doing that, you're taking this guy's order. You learn to become more efficient as a bartender if you
multitasking.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's talk about Shaken Esther, right? The documentary hasn't come out yet, but tell us about how you were approached to do this and what we should look forward to seeing you in this documentary.
I would say they were essentially doing like a post, like kind of shouting out, talking about what they were looking for the upcoming documentary that they were going to be filming, and they were asking people to reach out, submit your information, and so forth. And then I was a little busy. I forget what exactly was going on, but I had just like crazy stuff going on, like nothing bad, just busy.
Right.
And that's when I had Rob Husted, flair bartender out of Florida, that runs a lot of events as well and is also involved with the documentary now. He kind of threw my name in the hat, and next thing you know, I get a call from Deb, and just kind of talked a little bit, and she wanted to see what my thoughts were on it, and if I would be interested in becoming part of the crew with it. And I was all in right away, and it was exciting. And I remember it was like, I think she called me at like 9 or 10 a.m. or something, which for me is kind of rough because I usually get done at like 4 in the morning. So I was a little tired, but I literally just grabbed like a coffee, and it was really exciting. So it woke me up quick. It got me eager to see what was going to happen. Like, what's the next steps? Where's it going to go from here? And then from there, it just kind of went into what they were wanting to see out of it now from their end, coming towards us as crew. And but essentially, it's touching base with us. It's following myself, Lindsay, and Lorenzo, along with some other a numerous amount of interviews around the board as well for other bartenders. But it's essentially focusing on the past, present, and future of flair bartending, where it was as its peak, and then kind of the fall a little bit over when the economy kind of went down as well. And with that, a lot of competitions that used to be around that were very good payouts back in the day, unfortunately kind of folded. And with that, you saw the development of a lot of smaller competitions starting to develop as well. Myself included was running a few back in Reading, Pennsylvania. And that's when you see a lot of the transitions as well. A lot of the old school guys were kind of getting out of it, and you had a lot of these new school guys coming in. And again, right now there's a newer generation that's coming up as well. So I'm kind of in between. I'm kind of part of the old school, but I still have more of a newer style, European style with my flair compared to a lot of America. But so it should be really exciting just to kind of see the progression of the flair bartending world for everybody else out there that isn't familiar with it. Just kind of seeing how something that they've probably never known about not only existed, but was extremely popular in a worldwide setting, not just like a local region or something. And we're trying to get it back to there as a whole, but it just takes a lot of effort from people, because it's one event is so much time and stress and planning, preparation, and of course you do need money as well for that, and that's where a lot of sponsors come in. So it's should be coming out here in a few months, I believe. So I'm excited to see how everything turns out.
Yeah, and you get to follow not only your life and your career and your journey, but you are looking at it from other bartenders too, and how they kind of got to the spot that they're at now. And it's kind of really inspirational to a point to see, okay, that was your journey, and how someone might end up doing flair bartending is completely different than the way you did, right? So let's talk a little bit about, we talk about your journey, we talk about why you do what you do, but what is the legacy that you want to leave behind with flair bartending? Is this something that you are dead set, this is what your goal is, to bring it back, to stay doing it, retire doing it? What is the goal like for you the next 10, 20 years?
I think the goal for me going down that road is going to be mostly, I would love to be at a point where I have my own bar and I'm sort of mentoring the staff to to become their best selves as far as their efficiency behind the bar and their interactions behind the bar. You don't want to hire somebody that's very stone-faced with customers and ignores them, and you want somebody to be fun and interactive and playful, welcoming, and that can be challenging in the bar scene because people are going to test your patience for sure. But I think that's kind of my end goal with it, is to have a flair bar and just kind of make sure everybody that's coming up is putting the dedication in, try to see who has that passion, and show them reasons why, you know, the passion will exist if you find that you have people reacting. As soon as you see how people are, then it's going to kind of build your interest and your passion to push yourself further. And I think I'm hoping that from some of like the documentary and stuff and some of the new people that are getting into it don't do what a lot of people do, where they tend to they progress, and then they hit a certain point where, okay, now they're getting attention, they're getting there's either tips are going up, or, and if they're young, they're getting girls, you know, or whatever, but then they kind of plateau and they stay right here and they never go higher. And that's what I didn't want to do. When I hit here, I just kept going. I kept practicing and pushing myself. And I think that's what a lot of the current generation is forgetting. They're getting to that point where they're the cool guy now behind the bar, and they're good, they're set. But it's not about being the cool guy. It's about the other side of the bar.
Right. If
you don't have the customers over there, you don't exist as a spot. Otherwise, you're going to have those robot bars like the one at Planet Hollywood. And I think that's just where I want to try to help push some of those young bartenders coming up to not settle, but also get out of some of those bad habits. Like, don't practice behind a bar. Practice at home, perform at the bar. You don't want to be back there looking amateur to somebody that may eventually become a bartender, or maybe they are a bartender and they're just keeping their mouth shut, not telling you. And they're just kind of watching you sit there and drop. Yeah. It's not going to look professional, and it's just going to, all you're going to do is hear the peanut gallery of the customers kind of busting your balls about it. So it's good to get people into habits where they're practicing outside of work, hitting it consistently, come into work and look as professional as you can while having fun doing it as well.
What is your practice schedule like? Because I'm sure you're always practicing on your off time.
Now, not so much at all, to be blatantly honest. I used to practice 8 hours a day, almost every day, whether it was raining or not, outside. At my dad's house back in PA, to this day, when I fly home to visit him, in his front yard, there's like a circle of grass that is just dead and will not grow, because that's where I would stand and practice for probably 8 hours or so, and it looks like a freaking little UFO circle or something, but it's just me just killing his entire front yard. But but that's what I did back then, I guess. Now it's so ingrained into me, I guess. It's muscle memory is what it is. So think about if you know how to ride a bicycle, but you don't ride a bike for, let's say, a month. You get back on that bike. You might be a little wobbly at first, but it's going to take you maybe 60 seconds, and then you're back to normal. So it's the same kind of thing. Plus, I do it at work every day. So I'm kind of staying fresh. I'm not really losing it. I'll have somebody come into the bar and they want to see 3 tins and 1 bottle, which is 3 shaker tins and 1 bottle. They want to see those 4 objects up in the air with a sequence of movements, not just one. And I can throw it and hit it, normally no problem, just because I stay fresh at work every day for 8-9 hours a day behind the bar. So just because of that, I really don't practice at all anymore unless I have a competition. When there is a competition, though, now I'm breaking down the rules. I'm looking at how can I score as many points as I can in this category for showmanship, this category for difficulty, this one for originality and smoothness. And you kind of factor in, okay, is the risk of this move worth the potential to score this or lose this number of points as well? And then you kind of piece it together. You create your own music, or I'm sorry, you don't create your own, you use music, but you you piece music together the way you want to.
Yeah.
And you try to hit it to the beat as well and choreograph it. So it's kind of this weird, elegant.
It's a performance.
You know, yeah.
It's literally just a performance in my eyes as a viewer. You know, it's absolutely amazing. It's its own talent. What would you say to someone who might be bartending now that wants to get into flair bartending? How would you tell them the first steps to get into that would be?
First steps are probably just one, don't be afraid to drop. You're going to fail before you become successful. It's blatantly as simple as that. Get some shaker tins. Preferably, I like the ones that have the weights on the bottom. That's the standard one. There are a couple guys that use non-weighted, so it's not as common that way. But and then also I would say get yourself like a plastic practice bottle so you're not just smashing bottles nonstop while you're getting the basic fundamentals. Because you have to get that eye-hand coordination down first, and then you can transition into glass bottles, and you won't be struggling with breaking all the time. But a lot of it is just kind of pick it up, throw it, see where it goes, and then try to break down where it went and see what you could do. So if you're doing multiple objects, if you, just like when juggling, if you exchange like a ball to another one, but you see it goes too far this way, now you know you have to throw more up instead of sideways, and you kind of try to correct it that way. And then in today's world too, it's very convenient just to go on like YouTube and watch some videos, because now you can take a video and you can slow down the playback speed so you can watch it in slow motion and try to break down the moves people are doing. There's also a lot of guys on there and Instagram and TikTok that are doing individual one move video breakdown, like for beginners, for amateurs, for pros and whatnot. And that can be a nice way to kind of get some of the basics, and then from there you kind of create your own style and even your own moves. It's hard, but in today's world it's still possible to come up with brand new moves that nobody's seen yet, because everybody has different ideas and different backgrounds how they got into it. Yeah. Like with me, eye-hand coordination was hockey, goalie, you know. Right. We have some other friends that were into soccer. One was like a airplane pilot, so everybody's different. You don't know what their mind's thinking when they're throwing stuff around. So.
Mm-hmm. And you also, like, this is completely off topic bartending, but you're into cars, you know, you're a biker, you also build trucks, and that's kind of like you on your free time. And I think I also read, it's a fun fact I read about you, that your nickname is Cheese.
Yeah.
Am I right about that?
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll start with that one first. That's funny. I wasn't ready for that. So, yeah, my nickname is Cheese. Naturally, my name is Colby. I am literally named after Colby cheese. Mm-hmm. And my parents didn't hate me, nothing like that. They're not lactose intolerant. It's just my older brother, his favorite kind of cheese was Colby cheese. And back in the day when it was safe for like a child to run around the grocery store with the kid, or without the parents, you know, my brother would like run off and he would like grab Colby cheese off of the shelf, and then he would run back and then try to sneak it into the shopping cart, but my parents weren't looking, and they wouldn't see it till they got to the register. And then they would look at it and they already had, you know, whatever, the American Swiss or something, and then they would be like, Colby, oh, here. But my brother Brian, they'd be like, Brian, like, go put it back. We don't need this. We already have these, you know. And then I guess when they were expecting me, then he did it again, same thing. And then my mom liked the name. And that's what they went with. And, of course, growing up with that for a nickname, when I was playing hockey, our rival teams would have signs behind me that would try to call me Swiss cheese. And then also people would just have fun with all the cheese jokes, you know. But yeah, so that's how that is. And then motorcycle, I've been riding since I was 16, 17, couple bikes now, sport bikes. I don't have any body fat or tattoos or look badass enough for a cruiser. So I got my sport bike, it's fun. And then custom vehicles, I've been doing those for as long as I could drive. Always low, bagged, like air ride suspension so I can adjust the height, and just full custom. And been part of a custom mini truck club since 2000. So and that's called acrophobia, which means the fear of heights.
I see. That's
So-
cool. And you present your cars at shows too, right?
I do,
Auto shows.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
like I was just at one up at the Speedway. They wanted my Tesla on display at the Yokohama hauler because they're one of the sponsors for my build. And so that was great. It was a really good time.
That's pretty cool. So
Yeah,
on
it's-
top of flair bartending, like he's a handyman. Hands. You're all, you
Yeah.
build, you do.
All over the place.
All over the place. So that's amazing. So one more question that I always ask all of my guests
Sure.
members. And it's pretty much sums up everyone and their personality and their career, no matter what you do. And that question is there a philosophy that you live by?
I would say I can't think of who said it off the top of my head, but it was action. What is it? Vision without action is a daydream. Action without vision is a nightmare. So it's kind of basically saying like obviously like plan out things you're going to do before doing them. Otherwise, it's going to be just a total
Right.
train wreck. That way, you're going to be successful at what you're doing, whether that's building a custom car or throwing bottles around in the air, or even approaching a hostile situation as well in the bar or something. And just kind of try to break it down a little bit before you go attack it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably one of the main ones I go by. I say there's another one that I just heard too, but I can't think of that one. But it was damn good.
Yeah, but a really practical man, very handy man, very logistics, which I appreciate. You get down to it and then you go out and you do it. A lot of people sit back and they're like, yeah, I wish. I want to do that, but they don't put that into action
Right.
because it gets overwhelming. But you literally sit down, you do it, and then comes out and you're like, yeah. So I love that for you. Everything about it is absolutely amazing. It's flair bartending. You're the first bartender that I've ever had on the show. Anyone going around that route. So it's really interesting
wow.
to hear viewpoints from someone like that, especially in a city that's a lot about drinking.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people on here that come here are entertainment. They perform at bars, perform at lounges, but we never hear about the people who work on the other side and how you guys view things and how that itself is a craft. An art, right?
Yeah.
Because we go to the bar, we go there, order. Sometimes the guy talks, sometimes he doesn't, and then, you go about your night, but no one really talks about what it's like behind there, especially here. And there's a lot going on. There's a lot of personalities, a lot of things you'll see. You're like, what just walked in the door? But okay,
No, it's
Yeah.
true, and I think that's a thing too. Is like a lot of people don't realize, like you said, you don't think about the other side of the bar.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of customers, like everybody assumes when you walk into a bar that person's just having the best day of their life. You don't know what they have going on either as a bartender. They could be going through like a divorce, or they could have just had a child. Either side of that spectrum, and they're going to try to do their best to just kind of block it off and just you're their focus. Even if you're having a bad day, they're focused on your problems, not theirs.
Yeah, of course. So tell everyone where they could come see you from a day-to-day and where that is, the hours, and when you work, if they really want to meet you, talk to you, etc.
Yeah, so I work 5 nights a week, every Sunday through Thursday night, 6 p.m. to close at a bar called Fuel Bar. It's about a 2-car garage size-wise, so it's not huge. It's a small bar with a big atmosphere. It's located in front of now Horseshoe, formerly Bally's. There's a little Grand Bazaar shops right out front there, across from Wahlburgers. We're like right there, and it's great. Like grab one of the buy one get one cards from one of the promoters when you're coming into the bar, and you'll get 2 for 1. It's a great deal. If you're gonna go out to like a nightclub or something too, like pop into us pregame there. That way you can save your money and then go to the club and not have to spend $40 a drink.
That's the way. And do you do social media at all so they can kind of keep out for the documentary, look out for that?
Yeah, I try to post a lot of stuff on like Instagram. It's going to be random stuff. It's not just bartending. I post like funny videos with out on my bike or with my Tesla or just random stuff around the bars as well. So, but it's for Instagram. It's at the Colby Ashton. And I'm sure we can figure that out
Yeah,
later. But
yeah. You can reach out to him, see where he's at, meet him. I'm sure all the girls will be like, oh my god, I want to go meet him at the bar. You know. But absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor
absolutely. Thanks for having me.
and hearing the different side of not only bartending but flair bartending. So it's great that you're here. You're giving everyone some new knowledge and being really insightful. So thank you for that. So everyone, please go look out for him. Go to the bar that he works at on the Strip. It's located on the Strip. And then go follow him on Instagram. Look out for that documentary. And yeah, be a fan of Colby Ashton. Yeah. Round of applause, everybody. Period. Getting shy? Like, don't be shy. I know that you're all with your hands, but don't be shy. You give her a round of applause.
I'm not behind the bar.
I know, I'm like, oh gosh. Maybe we need to put the table here, Maria, and then he'll be...
I'm aggressive behind the bar, and I'm gentle on this side.
Yeah, I can see. So thank you so much for being here. When we come back, you know I'm not done running my mouth, so I will see you when we get back.
Showmanship has been a big part of bartending from day one.
And once you get into that zone, it's the best feeling in the world.
Legends in Vegas, it just changed the game.
I can break down a move, and if you never flare in your life, it might take years for you.
We all want to be the best.
On competition days, it's competition, your enemy right now, you know. But tonight we'll drink together.
The year is 2980, and we now know that death is not the end. A soul can be extracted from the recently deceased and be used to create a blue liquid called essence. It can bring a person back to life.
We'll get her back.
I hope so.
It's an expensive process used by the rich and powerful. The rest, they do what they can to survive.
Stay right there.
You told me you're hiding from some dangerous people.
Let's knock on the door. I spent the last year searching for the Deep Star. A bounty so big that the entire galaxy could be yours.
People have been looking for the Deep Star for years. They can't be found.
It's because they can't find the distress beacon. I know where it is. If we find the Deep Star, we could get enough credits to bring Mom back.
Blast off.
Guys, we have company.
You can run, but you cannot hide. Prepare for impact.
I am now authorized to take action.
And now you die.
No!
Las Vegas, here we come!
I can't believe we're all moving to Vegas.
I know, right? It's a dream come true.
Wow, super creepy dude.
Mason, stop. I think he heard you.
What if someone walked up in the back of his Sima?
She's gone. Someone took her.
Who's that creepy trucker?
What are you doing?
They call me Mother Trucker.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Hot Seat. We are live in real time here at Social Media Shows. I am your host, Priscilla Moy, and I really hope that you enjoyed today's interview. Somewhat different than we've interviewed all before, so I'm really hope that you guys have been watching and taking notes, and then you go meet Colby at Fuel Bar. Now, The question that everyone's been asking is how to get on this show. The golden email address is going to be admin@socialmediashows.com. If you want to be a guest on this show, or you want to sponsor, or you want to inquire about any other shows that are on this network, it's not just mine. There's about like 15 other ones that you can be a part of or you can watch. Or if you have a new idea about one, we're also looking for other shows. There's a casting call right now through Social Media Shows, and that email address will be admin@socialmediashows.com. That is the one that you're going to want to go to inquire about anything, not just a hot seat, but anything about this network. So please send all of your questions over to there. And I really hope that you guys would love to be a guest on this show. As you've been watching, we're getting a lot of viewers, a lot of comments. The fan base is growing. A lot of people want to be on this show. And I'm truly honored that you guys are spending your time watching the people here, following, listening, and enjoying this content. So if you want to be someone that sits here on the hot seat, and you won't get burned, but if you sit here on the hot seat, please inquire. Send your headshot and your bio to Maria at the email address admin@socialmediashows.com. So please, please, please continue to watch, like, subscribe, share, tell people about it, inquire, all that you can. If you know someone that could be a great person to be on the show, that would be absolutely amazing. So please continue to watch. I will see you guys next week here in the studio at the hot seat.